Hi all. In today's session, we are going to learn about scraping PDFs from a given URL. So most of the time of being a data scientist is spent on sourcing the required data to solve a problem, followed by preparing the data, which in a way is kind of cleaning the data and transforming the data to be consumed by the model which is being built. So one such data sourcing which we are going to learn today is scraping the PDFs. So the objective of this particular tutorial is uh, take a particular URL, which kind of acts as a host to multiple PDF files, and using Python libraries, download those particular PDFs. And on top of that, from the downloaded PDFs, we are going to see how we can extract any tabular information which is present in the PDFs, which could be used for further analysis. So with this brief intro, let's quickly jump into the code. So firstly, I'm importing the required libraries. So the two important libraries to make a note of in this particular session are the Beautiful Soup library, which kind of helps us to parse a given URL and download the required PDF content. And the other library of importance is Tabula. So as the name suggests, Tabula it kinds of helps us to use. It can be used to read the tabular content which is present in a PDF, and it can be stored into a structured format. We will see towards the later half of the tutorial on how Tabula is used. So once the required libraries are imported, next what I'm trying to specify is the location where the scraped PDFs are to be saved. So for this purpose, I'm mounting my Google Drive. So essentially what I'm trying to do here is, first thing is, once we pass a URL and identify multiple PDFs there, I'm specifying a location in my Google Drive where the scraped PDFs are to be saved. So once my Google Drive is mounted, next is providing the input, essentially the URL from which the PDFs are to be scraped, and also the location in my Google Drive where they are to be saved after scraping. So in case if this particular location in my drive is not existing, uh, I'm just creating one using the OS library in Python. Let me quickly open this particular URL. So as seen here, this is the URL for the football fans out there. This is Premier League URL where it has publications tab, where literally we have close to 50 PDFs which have been presented every year. For example, for the season 2021-22, starting from the Premier League handbook and the rules or the schedules of this particular season, everything is available as a PDF. So in case if I have to do it manually, I'll just go to the particular file which is of interest to me and then press download PDF. So essentially now what we are going to do is, from that particular URL using the Beautiful Soup library, and we are going to run a loop and download all the PDFs. So as seen here, we are specifying the URL from which the PDFs have to be picked, and also we are specifying the location where these PDF files have to be saved. So this particular block of code is the actual code which is going to be used to download the PDFs. So the first step, I'm creating a soup object with the particular URL which is of interest to me. And once a soup object is created, what I'm doing is, for every link within that particular object, I am picking up the header anchor tags which are ending with .pdfs. So what happens? So all the links which are available in this particular URL ending with a .pdf get picked, and among them, I just, for the explanations purpose, I just picked one example here. So as seen here, this is one particular URL starting with the HTTPS, and it ends with a .pdf. So for each of these particular links which are coming in, we need to prepare the file name to which the content has to be stored. So what we are doing, a simple split function we are using with a forward slash. So essentially what happens is, each of the particular forward slashes are identified within this particular link, and I'm picking the last one. So -1 position refers to the last position in this particular link, and so this gets picked up as the name of the particular file. So what we're doing, we are storing that particular file name, and for that particular file name, we are passing the link and copying the content. So as seen here, it is a for loop which is written, and for each PDF link which is available in this particular URL, we are copying the content with the exact file name which is getting picked from the link. So let me quickly show how these files look like. So as seen here, I kind of created or saved the location from where these files have to be saved. They are in my Collab Notebooks Premier League folder in my Google Drive. So my Collab Notebooks in the Premier League folder, all the files are getting stored, the PDFs. So which are close to about 50 files which are present. And once these are done, now coming to the next part of our exercise, let's say if you're interested in kind of pulling out a particular table within one of the PDFs, and we have to store them into a structured format. Structured format, I mean, can be a CSV file or an Excel file. So to start this particular exercise, I have pulled one particular file which goes by the name, this is PL interactive combine.pdf. So this exactly is this file. Let me quickly go to jump on page number 1. So as seen here, this is the particular file which I have pulled in. So it kind of gives us the overview of the previous season. So as seen here, let me quickly jump to page number 18. Let's assume that in this particular page, this particular table, which kind of tells us the final standings of each of the clubs in that season, I want to kind of save it into a data frame. So that's essentially what Tabla helps me to do that. So as seen here, what I'm doing is, for this particular PDF file, I'm specifying the page number from which the table has to be picked. So, and what happened? It kind of pulled in the tabular information which is present in the table. But as seen here, we can see that it does not look, or it's not exactly the table which is of interest to me. It has pulled in other information as well, like the amount the Premier League invests per season in the development of community facilities, etc., which is exactly getting picked from this particular block of text which is written here. So the reason may be, as this is a landscape layout, each of these Tabla is kind of picking up as a table and it is getting pulled in. However, if one big advantage of this particular Tabla is it kind of gives more control to the user as well, to specify which area in a particular page should be considered for pulling the table. So as I had stated earlier, this particular table is of interest to me. So what we can do is we can specify the area from which the table has to be picked in. So I'm importing one more function called the convert into from Tabla. So what essentially convert into does is it picks the particular file or the PDF file from which we are going to pick a table, and we are going to store it to a CSV file, save it to a CSV file. That's essentially what convert into does. And we are specifying the output format, and within that particular page, we are specifying the area from which the table has to be picked. So these 4 parameters can be picked from any of the image softwares like Photoshop, where we specify the pointer and we get the position of each of the pixel positions here. So we specify that, and once we specify it, and we am storing it to a CSV file, and once I read the CSV file, this is the final output I'm getting from that particular table. So this is exactly what the table is of interest to me, which is getting stored here. As seen here, we can see in positions 10 and 11, we do have some text which is not exactly, which is present in the table. So let's see what exactly it is. So what happened is, for the club Newcastle United, that is exactly post the Newcastle United, we are getting some extra rows. The reason being, let me please zoom in here. So essentially what's happening is, for the Newcastle United club, below their club badge, they have something which says they are 125 years old. So this particular text is getting picked up, and that's exactly what is getting converted to one of the rows, which goes to the next phase of data cleaning exercise where we kind of remove this. So in this way, using Tabula and Beautiful Soup, we can scrape the PDFs and also pick particular tables from each of the PDFs which are interest to the user. Thank you.